Alright guys, so we are going to be doing the final video for the Victini and Hilda showcase. I'm probably going to call this the World Tour because we're just going in events and stages that are relevant for today's era in Pokémon Masters. And the final time, or the final showcase, is going to be in co-op because we do have some co-op events. And in co-op, we could really see how self-sufficient and how good they can be when it's just themselves. Unless you have other sync pairs on your team that can carry on stat increases to the next sync pair that can switch in. So in this case, Victini, we have Groudon actually in slot 1 over here, and then we're going to switch out, have the Sun active, and then we're just going to have Victini swap in, and then have the stat increases with the trainer move, and then just start unleashing attacks on Janine over here. So yeah, I think co-op is a great way to kind of showcase how good a sync pair can be when it's just themselves. Of course, we have other members on the team that can help with supporting and everything, but really, all we are doing is just using Victini. We're not controlling the AIs, so whatever they do is what they do. But in terms of everything else, it is just going to be Victini. We're not going to be relying on anybody else but Victini. So let's see, what does Mesper have actually? Confusion, Reflect. Raises the sync pair special attack by all sync pairs by 2. Raises speed. Applies a gradual healing. Okay, so that's about it. Maybe Umbreon. What does Umbreon have? Tackle, Snarl. Snarl lowers the special attack. Speed, he increases. Restores an allied HP by approximately 60%. Removes all status conditions. Confused, flinching, trapped, and enduring effect to an ally. I think we can get rid of you, maybe. I think, see, the thing is, if I could have an option to not have any of them there, I would so do that, but we have to have some sync pairs here, so we'll just keep them. But let's go into the co-op battle and see how Victini actually performs, and go from there. So Janine is going to be weak to fire, all her Pokemon, so that's going to be good. That's going to be helpful for Victini. So let's swap in, get Victini out, get our stat increases with them. Sun will be out, so Victini will actually be able to do a lot more damage than what we were able to see against Cobalion. So that's going to be good. And since there's 3 enemies, we can actually use Searing Shot. And keep in mind, with Searing Shot, because of Victini's passive, every time we use Searing Shot, we're going to get 3 move gauge back as well. Because every time we hit an opponent, we're going to be getting 1 move gauge back. And because there's 3, we're going to get 3 back, making Searing Shot a 1 gauge move, which is really good. But when there's 1 enemy, we're only going to get 1 move gauge back. So then Searing Shot and V-Crate will only be a 3 gauge move instead. So the battle is done just like that. So that was actually really quick. That was really, really quick. Let's go to another battle that Victini is not super effective in and see how they perform over there actually, because that was actually really quick because of them being weak to fire. Okay, so we're going to go up against Brock. This is going to be his lineup, so we are still going to be going up against 3 sync pairs, or in this case, we're going to go up against 5. But whenever we knock out the 2 side Pokemon first, we're going to get another 2. So we are going to be able to use Searing Shot for a decent amount of time, allowing us to be sufficient with our move gauge. So let's just get right into it. I didn't think that first battle was going to be that quick. That was insane. Victini is so good for that stage if you need to farm up gears and stuff like that. Wow, that's actually really good. And like having Groudon just have Sun up like that, switch out, have Victini come in, and then having Victini only need to use 1 trainer move, and then you can just start attacking. It's just so quick and it's just so efficient. It is awesome. Like, look at this. Like, even though the enemy is not that strong, typically co-op battles aren't even that difficult too. So like, just to look at that, Victini is just able to constantly spam Searing Shot when there's 3 enemies on the field. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's really good. And keep in mind, you have a 30% chance of burning the enemy as well. And we couldn't really see that because, like, for the most part, the side Pokemon were getting one-shotted. Like, it's crazy. It is so... the one thing I hate about co-op, though, is this Unity attack. It, like, ruins the momentum so much. Like, when you're just spamming moves, and then Unity attack comes in, it just ruins the mood. It just ruins the flow of the battle, and I just hate it. Like, that's one thing. That's another reason why I stopped playing co-op as much as I did. Because before, if you watch my older videos, I would be playing co-op so much, grinding up the gears, the materials, and stuff like that. But now I just don't do that. Okay, so what do we have? Do we have another sync for here? I think Karina's weak to fire as well. So we could check her out. Yes. Okay. I think she's gonna have vigilance though, so this would actually be a good test to see as well. So let's just go right into it. So all these co-op stages, Victini is just gonna be easily destroying, and we can see how sufficient Victini actually is, which is awesome. And Victini is just so good. Like literally, they're just so good. They will come back eventually, of course, like all sync pairs do. So if you want a good fire type attacker, Victini is going to be a very good option for you to grab. Can we knock out? Yes, okay, because if they brought in the sandstorm, then the sun would have disappeared, so that would have been unfortunate. But the Lucario does have vigilance, so we're not getting any crits on them, but still, the enemy is not that weak, or not that strong. Of course, because they're not even like at level 120, but still, even if they were at level 120, level 140, these battles in co-op would have been still pretty easy to do, regardless, because of how strong Victini is, and having Sun up because of Groudon, switching and everything, definitely very good. Like no matter what battle we do, we're gonna be good against. Let's go up against Claire. She is definitely not weak to fire. She's going to be weak to Dragon. How many Pokemon do they have? Only those 3. Okay. You know what? Let's go in. Let's switch to the team real quick because I did not have that team. Okay. Anyways. Let's go. I think this might be the final battle that we're going to do because we've already done like what? This is going to be the 4th or 5th battle. So this is a good amount of battles to actually showcase Victini in co-op. Unless they're at a stage in the events, but I doubt it at the moment. Yeah, so even not being super effective, having Sun up and everything, and Victini's speed is going up. Normally, that Bulldoze would lower our speed, but because Victini has downside up, the speed is getting increased instead of getting lowered, which is awesome. So, definitely very good. Any sync pair that has downside up or a passive that can actually increase like the negatives into a positive, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be a crazy good mechanic. And I think we are going to get the Unity attack over here, which is going to be a bummer, because I hate getting those. It just ruins the momentum so much. But I think we're going to knock them out before we're able to get the Unity attack. They have a sliver of health over here. Yes, okay. Wow, 50 damage knocked it out too. That's insane. Yeah, they were so low on HP. But yeah, so there we go. There's Victini in the co-op stages. As you can see, Victini is very, very good. Even though the enemy is only level 100, keep in mind, only level 100. Victini is still, like, the whole point was to showcase Victini on how self-sufficient they could be, not having to rely on any other sync pair. Because in most battles, the players, are controlling 3 sync pairs. So we are making the teams around each other. So when we're just using Victini, going into co-op, and just relying on what Victini has to offer in their kit. So we're just relying on Serum Shot, Confusion, V-Create, their training move for the win, and their passives, and whatever I have on the grid, which is like next to nothing because I have only 1 out of 5. That really just shows like how good Victini really is. And that is the point of doing these co-op battles, and that's why I did co-op battles in the past, to showcase a lot of sync pairs as well, because you get to really see how sufficient they are and how good they can be when you're just relying on them. And that's what I'm going to start doing again. I'm going to start bringing back those old showcases because I think it is a good representation to see how good a sync pair is based on how efficient or effective they are when they trust themselves as well, because you're not always going to be able to use all 3 of your sync pairs, because I think in later difficulties, in later events, they're going to be not allowing you to create your teams with 3. You might have to do 2, or you can only use 1 sync pair. So having the sync pair that is good just with themselves is going to be very good. And yeah, because when they're good by themselves, then they're going to be even better when they're with a team. So keep that in mind. But that's going to be the final showcase for Victini over here. Let me know what you guys think of Victini. My personal favorite fire type in the game right now. Has always been since they got released. I do love Mega Blaziken as well. But Victini takes the cake. Like, don't get me wrong, Blaziken is very self-sufficient as well. He's very good, but I just have way more fun with Victini because of that AoE as well. Because like I said, I have a soft spot for these AoEs. So, yeah. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of Victini. That's going to be it for this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.